periodic droughts or floods and would take precautions to the best of their ability.
See?
The people of Egypt always expected the Nile to flood and came to rely on it as a source of irrigation.
See there?
In the United States, because of the long-term development of the country by those who came before us, wherever there is a crisis in one state of the U.S., another state can use a railroad, river transport, or airlift in order to bring in the necessary supplies to deal with the shortage. Hence, no American would imagine refugees thin as skeletons wandering from one state to the next. This kind of direct response to a food shortage is not a long-term plan for the development of our country, but it is a capability of defense against severe weather that we still have. That kind of preparation is necessary and basic, but more of a last line of defense than the first. Our first line of defense must be to understand those processes themselves that are the cause of anomalies in the weather and learn to fill in those parts of the process that nature won't supply. But a society where mankind is treated like just another animal, where those that are weaker than the strongest beast will be expected to die, is one in which human beings are not allowed access to such knowledge. That is precisely what the British Empire has done, is doing, and will do to the human race.
See, I'm not telling you guys a lie. I'm telling you. Everybody knows what's going on. You guys better wake up. I told you about the concentration camps.
Let's take a closer look at how this operates. During the Great Famines that occurred between 1876 and 1906, several nations on 3 continents were affected. Although the British Empire, which had dominion over most of these areas, did not keep records of the number of deaths due to famine, estimates put the number at anywhere between 32 and 61 million people globally.
Imagine that. They've done it already.
Putting that in the light of world wars, it amounts to as great as the number of casualties of World War II, including disease-related deaths and victims of the Holocaust. Although the British Empire was and is brutal, how could as much as 60 million people possibly have been wiped out so quickly? What we know today, and very well could have known at the time, is that 3 strong El Nino events took place between 1876 and 1906. The effect was drought that decimated the food supply of several countries, extending from Brazil over to China, down to India, and as far west as Egypt and the Maghreb. However, human civilizations have been aware of disturbances in the supply of food for thousands of years.
They use that to their advantage.
And have the ability to take certain precautions, which include reserves and transport of food.
They really do. They know what's coming.
In an age of modern rail transport and telegraph communication, why would the late 19th century death toll amount to such an ungodly number? We will shed more light on this to look at the British in India, although this does not even begin to give the whole picture of the unnecessary and brutal deaths that occurred around the world and still continue to this day.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'm getting ready to shut that off, you guys. I just wanted you to... Okay, I'm back again. Listen, I wanted to finish up with a comment on what you just heard. I'm always going online looking for information like this because I want to be able to back up my accusations and my information that I'm lodging at you guys to make you really be aware and to make you fear the fact that your governments are planning mass murder really all over this place. Not just your government, all governments. The whole, see, this is how it happens. Let me explain to you what goes on. It's just like if you had 8 pimps that was pimping all in one city. What they will all get together and do is sit down and have a meeting and work out a strategy with each other where they don't be at war with each other, and that they could put all that away, they could put all their finances together so they can all improve their pimping abilities. Well, that's what governments do too. Governments do the same thing. Don't think for 1 second that you have a government that has your best interest at heart. The only person that's going to have your best interest at heart is you. Believe that. And so when everybody starts recognizing how important it is to not let governments take control over your neighborhoods and stuff like that, everybody will be able to fend for themselves again. But back to the point. All the governments get together and build a strategy with each other where they use the resources that they all collect from the masses together. They have one unique center. In this case, it'll be Britain and England. That unique center is the one who gets the toppest piece of the cake. They get the one off the top because they are the ones who have the largest amount of the assets, meaning that they have the greatest ability to destroy any foe. Okay, now once you get that type of power right there, you get to dictate what's going on. Britain has had that power forever. Britain, like I said in a lot earlier of my segment, in Rome, don't think for 1 second that they are not together. You better believe London, the Vatican, and Washington, D.C., those three centers right there are the centers of corporate evil. Those three right there. They are the reason for poverty. They are the reason for war. They are the reasons for all the atrocious things against God that goes on this planet. I'm not the only one saying that. You see this lady right here just said that too. And I got to let you guys know something. It's really, really getting off the hook when you got mediocrity coming out there saying that. But you see it's on YouTube. I don't know who spotted this on the potential where it got put here on YouTube. I don't know. Whoever did a good job, because I would have missed this if it wasn't on YouTube. But my point is, you're not going to get information like this on America TV. I mean, if you do, it's going to be a paid channel or something. I just don't see this is going to be on Walter Cronkite Report or anything like that. So my point is, here's a white lady that's saying the same thing that I'm saying about what's going on with the world. There was a whole bunch of people that you saw, and we'll see later down the line coming out. If you go see Alex Jones and Michael Moore, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They're all going to be coming around at you, trying to point at you what's been going on and why everything is so disturbed in this world. It all breaks down to white male inferiority complex of himself, his inability to deal with the fact of his melanin recessiveness. He wants to be control of everything because when he sees that he's missing his melanin, it runs him crazy. So the only way to feel that he's complete is that he has to go out and make people that are complete be submissive to him. This is where the desire to murder comes from. Now, the white woman doesn't have this problem as much because she, having a womb, is able to reproduce and bring life into the world. Now, if you are a person that can bring a living, thriving entity of life into this world, that right there is something that should make you have wild self-esteem. So there's no reason for any female that has that capability to have any inferiority complex. The only thing they have is brainwashing and being informed of misinformation of why they should hate other people. And of course, the white man enticed his white woman to help perpetuate that because he needed her help so she wouldn't be hesitant at sending her offsprings to war, which is a whole history of you guys doing that, which is hard for me to understand because it seemed to me like somewhere you ladies will get tired of spitting all those babies out just so they could go get killed on a foreign war. But my theme being is that everybody needs to wake up. It's real obvious that it is the Europeans that's doing all this bullshit on the planet. Don't try to say when black people complain about all this shit that's happened to us that we're being racist or we're being troublemakers. We're just telling the truth. We're tired of you guys fucking up. Get involved and stop people in your race from doing so much shit, and then you won't have to get mad when people from other races be complaining about all the bullshit that happened to them from people in your race. And then instead of you trying to understand the genuine gripes and complaints of the people that's being victimized by your race, what you want to do is stay white with the white wrongdoers, and then even though you know it's wrong, you still want to team up with them so you can own how your collective whiteness with each other. And regardless to the fact that you know what's wrong is wrong, you can't have 600 years of abuse to another race of people and then have the nerves to try to be mad when somebody like me pick up a camera and put the way I feel about it on freaking YouTube. You gotta be out your damn mind. Alright, so I'm back. I done calmed down a bit. I get irritated because, you know, I see the stuff that's going on and there's nobody else seem to me that seem to be interested. So I feel like sometimes that there is other people interested, but what I mean is us that start telling people it's the only ones doing it. Nobody, I mean, I know it's really not much to do, but I just think it should be more people getting involved and being concerned about the conditions of our world. And I know me as a survivor and still victim of slavery. I'm not trying to sit around here and wait on things to get worse. I already see what's coming. See, I'm not a person that sit around and doubt what they would do when I know what they've done. You know, I know firsthand what it's like.
Pretty politically charged.
Biggest terrorist is Obama in the United States of America. You know, so for me, it's like I'm trying to fight the terrorism that's actually causing the other forms of terrorism. You know, the root causes of the terrorism is the stuff that the U.S. government allows to happen.
Same thing I be saying. See that lady? They put her in a concentration camp. Y'all used to seeing them lock black people up anyway, so when they say they're building more prisons, you think it's just for black people. You're wrong.
In prison, innocent Americans replaced the 50 states with 10 giant prison
I told you,
sectors.
they building one here in Jantzen Beach.
Fill up hundreds of concentration camps with people like you and me.
That means you white people
Martial
too.
law on law-abiding citizens. And pull the trigger with a disease pandemic.
Ooh, look at those masks they have on. That means they're gonna poison gas our asses and all kind of viruses, everything they can throw at you. Put a cap on it all.
Pull the trigger with a disease pandemic.
This is the perfect pretext to bring in
That's
martial
Alex
law
Jones.
using the fear generated by a pandemic.
They'd start a pandemic as an excuse to put away anybody who gets in the way of their power grab. The feds would trigger a nationwide outbreak of deadly disease. The bodies would pile up, the military would pile in, and the concentration camp gates would open.
I'm telling you
Martial
guys.
law. I'd seen that in the Philippines. The military moving in and taking over our communities, stomping on our rights.
Christian propaganda.
Fusion centers are actually command centers for a network of concentration camps ready to be activated under martial law.
We know that they plan to use the cover story that these centers were for illegal aliens or undocumented immigrants, but that they would then build them all over the nation, prisons that are for entire families, similar to the Nazi concentration camps.
Or similar to when they interned American Japanese citizens in World War II.
Exactly.
That government plan to suspend the Constitution, declare martial law, and round up anyone deemed a national security threat, it's documented.
A lot of them don't realize that FDR, by executive order, ordered the detention of American citizens. They were American citizens, but they happened to be of Japanese descent. They were corralled up. Over 100,000 of them were interned for years. No due process at all. But the more recent one, which has raised a few eyebrows, is the one issued January 11th, 2010, which establishes the Council of Governors.
The Council of Governors, 9 state governors and 1 from Puerto Rico. In case of a national emergency, they quarantine the country into 10 sectors.